Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Win Play podcast. Today is going to be a blessing for you. And this is another episode, and we haven't figured out what we're going to call these. So again, I'm sending out the bat signal to you guys to please help us figure out, do we want to call these episodes the roadie episode because we're on the road, we're at a school, or just a to-go episode? Like, I don't know. So this is why I'm reaching out to you guys. Please submit something that we can call these episodes when we're actually on the road at a school and speaking. Speaking just on the road. If I'm on the road as a speaker and end up getting a chance to do some interviews while I'm on the road, because what happens is it's really cool. I have an amazing chance to speak to some people while I'm on the road who you guys don't get a chance to meet. But also what's really cool is we get to raid the classroom and get to eat some snacks instead of our normal ring ceremony or whatever you want to call it, because we don't call it anything yet. We just give out the winning play rings for the championship rings. So I just wanted to say this is another episode. I'm your host, Sean Gary, National Youth Speaker and author. And today I have a new friend of mine. Well, it's been some months now. Erin is here. She's going to bring a different perspective. So I'm excited for you guys to watch. I'm excited for you guys to listen. And before we go any further, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button and notify the bell, all that YouTube-y stuff. And then also send this to somebody else so that they can tune in, because this one is going to be a good one.
It is.
All right. So go ahead and tell the people who you are, share your credentials so they understand the power of the episode that they're about to witness.
All right. I don't know how powerful the credentials are. They're just kind of regular credentials. But so my name is Erin Seibert. I am currently assistant principal at a large elementary school in Indiana. That's where Sean is on the road today, in Indiana. He's making all kinds of noise. There we go. This is my my 6th year in administration. Before that, I was in the classroom. I taught first grade, actually, in a full circle story. I student taught at this school that I'm now an assistant principal at. Got hired at this school the very next year after graduating, and then got accessed. So I went from first grade. I'd done all my work in first grade and kindergarten, and they placed me in a 5th grade classroom. And when they told me I was going to a 5th grade classroom at this school, I thought I was going to die.
Wait, real quick. Yeah. Go back. You said accessed or something. What was that?
Yes,
you said?
access. So
what does
there
that mean?
Used to be a whole lot of teachers looking for a few teaching jobs.
Okay.
And so at the end of the year, if you were a new teacher, like I was that year, they would say, we have too many teachers. So you are not going to get to keep your spot because someone who's been doing it longer is going to get your spot. So that's what happened when I was here. And I was placed at a different school in 5th grade. Thought I was going to not survive. Found out that I really did love it.
Really?
So I went from first grade to 5th grade, and then at the end of the year, my principal asked if I would move to 3rd grade. It's a very happy medium for me. I stayed there for 7 years, and then my school was super big, so it split, and I decided it was time for a change. I'd been doing it for 7 years. I felt myself falling into what I'd done in the past, and that's just not who I am. I needed a complete shakeup to kind of get back to being creative and doing things that weren't just like, well, this is how I always do it. Okay. So went to 1st grade. Didn't know at the time when I moved schools and grades that I was going to be having a baby the following year. So took a half of a year off, and then came back teaching high ability. And
teaching what now?
High ability.
And what is that?
So it's a program for kiddos who have shown they need a little bit more of a challenge than the regular curriculum. Okay. So they came to my room for 1 period a day, and we would just work on some higher level thinking, some group work, just some different activities. From there, again, I was at a school that grew exponentially, and we went from 600 students to about 1,000 students. So we split yet again. At that time, I decided it was the time to get into administration. So we actually opened a brand new elementary school in town, state of the art. It was super fancy.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I got
Nice.
to go out there as assistant principal.
Okay.
Was there for a couple of years. Then along came COVID.
Ah.
So then COVID came, and they were like trying to figure out how to get us back up. EVSC is proud to be one of the only corporations in the Midwest that stayed fully operational the year we came back
Wow.
from COVID, with lots and lots of changes,
Okay.
masking, social distancing.
Right.
We actually
Right.
took 2 schools, this one being one of them, and another school, and had to split them. This school became a K through 3. They moved the 4th and 5th graders to a different building.
Okay.
That was vacant, and another school's 4th and 5th graders came there, and so
Okay.
I was moved there to be an administrator at that building.
Ah.
And then when we all came back together, I got to come back here. So
Nice. Okay.
very full circle that I started here, and here I am now. So
Wow. That's a really cool story.
yes, my supervising teacher actually still teaches here,
Really?
and that's what she said. It's quite interesting that I used to evaluate your teaching, and now here you are evaluating my teaching. So
Right. Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
yes.
That's cool. So, when you were growing up, did you from the beginning did you know like, oh man, I can't wait to be a teacher, or what did you want to be?
I did not.
Or what you wanna
I would
do?
say up until my senior year of high school,
Okay.
I was going to be a lawyer.
Oh, okay.
I can be very persuasive.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it. And I like to win my point. So it
Yeah,
just seemed
yeah.
somewhat natural
Yeah.
that I was going to argue for a living. And so up until my senior year of high school, that's what I was going to do.
Mm.
And my senior year of high school, I had enough credits. I didn't have to take a full load of academic courses.
Okay.
So I signed up for this class called Cadet Teaching. And
Gotcha.
it was actually, it was a class where you got to go to a different school and like go into the buildings. And I thought, oh, that'd be a great way to kind of just chill my senior year.
Right.
And so I went into Cadet Teaching. I got into the classrooms and absolutely loved it.
Wow.
And so I was like,
Good.
okay, maybe this is what I want to do. And so actually changed the college I was going to go to.
Wow. Wow.
I was going to go up to Butler in Indy, and I ended up
Okay.
staying down here and went to USI. They had a great education program,
Okay.
and so here I am.
Here you are. So I have to ask, during that cadet program, what was it that you experienced that just hit you like, oh my gosh, I love this? Like, what was it that just really got you?
So the schools that they put the cadet teachers in were the schools that kind of had students who had some more needs than.
Okay.
And I was in a kindergarten classroom at a school that had a very high percentage of low socioeconomic status students.
Okay.
And it was just the feeling of those kids needed me to be there. They needed me to come in every day. They needed to know that I was there for them. They needed
Yeah.
to know that was going to be consistent in their life. And it was just one of those things like these kids need me to be here.
Right.
And that was just every day what I wanted to do. So that's
Wow.
kind of what it was. They
Feeling
say,
needed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it mattered if I was there or
Unnecessary.
not. There are places you go where it's like people are glad that you're there, but if you're not there, it's okay too.
Right.
But that was not the case
Yeah.
when I walked in this classroom. They
That had to feel good.
yes, so
It's like a sense of purpose too.
Yes.
It's like, like you said, if I'm not here, some places like, well, okay, whatever.
Right.
Life goes on. Someone else will just fill in, or we won't fill in at all. Like,
Yes.
versus knowing, no, if I'm not here, it's going to be damaging to students in certain ways. So, how did you know that? Like, what did you see? How did you gather that, come to that conclusion?
Well, the kids would, if you would miss a day, or I think at that time I was like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would go to the
Okay.
school, and Tuesday, Thursday we would be in the classroom learning, like in our classroom at school.
Mm-hmm.
And so until they realized that was the pattern, they would on Wednesday when I was there, Tuesday, like, oh my gosh, where were you yesterday? Why weren't you here? I came in, I wanted to tell you this happened, or I drew you this picture and you weren't here. And so
Aw.
because they said, we need you here. So
Wow. Well, oh my gosh, what a feeling.
Yes.
What a
Yeah.
feeling. And that was what grade?
they were kindergartners.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
On top of it, they were adorable.
Babies.
They were adorable
Oh
on top
my
of it.
god. Oh,
Yeah.
that got you.
It did.
As it probably would get almost anybody. You know, it's like the cutest little bodies and minds and brains are just like, oh, where were you? We needed you. And oh man, that is awesome. So how's it been? How's it been being in the position you're in now?
I love my job. Like any job, there are times where there are things that are very frustrating.
Right.
And that could be whether it's a policy thing through the schools, if it's an incident that happened with staff, student, parent, whatever it is. But I come to school every day loving my job. No day is the same. You mean you have your schedule, but no day is the same. You never really know what's going to hit you. But I'm very blessed to be in the role that I'm in.
That's cool. So on the opposite end of things, what
that was a big sign.
What is the craziest, wildest situation you've seen and had to deal with?
Well, there's could go
with,
so
of
many
course,
directions.
No names, but
no names. So like in a build, like in the school, like outside the school.
Oh, that means there's two options. So let's hear both, in the school and out the school.
Okay, so oh gosh, there's a lot of crazy options that we could do. So outside of the school, I think sometimes people forget, like we're here, there's kids here, and we're doing what the kids need to do, and so parent pickup and drop off line can get super crazy. So here's a shout out to all the people who are driving in that, who are working in that. The kids are there and they're watching. So let's not make a stand in front of vehicles and say you can't go anywhere until the police get here. That would be the craziest thing I've had to do.
Okay, so an upset parent. Two upset parents
at each other,
duking it out almost.
Not yet. No, we kept that. We kept that. But yeah.
You said you had that?
No, we did. They did not do that. We
Okay. So not fighting, but displaying a terrible example in the moment.
Yes, I think they forgot where they were.
Yeah, and I guess it can happen to some of the best of us, I guess. But that, at the school. That's okay. So don't do that. Don't do that, parents. Don't do that.
But on a happier note, the other craziest thing I had to deal with was just a month ago.
Okay.
Sitting in my office, sitting in my office, having a meeting in the morning, and the people I'm with are like, "Oh no, 4 dogs just ran by your window towards parent drop off. It was drop off time."
What?
I'm like, oh gosh, because if they could see them out my window, they were not like poodles; they were big dogs.
Right.
So I'm like, great, it's going to be chaos out there. So
and that was in the morning.
It was in the morning.
So they were trying to drop
their kids off. The buses are going to be coming. Like not a time I can have 4 dogs.
Oh my god.
So I love dogs. I'm okay. I'm like, I'll go get these dogs.
Right. Oh,
walk out there.
Worse.
Oh, it changed. It's a plot twist you did not see coming.
Okay.
So I grabbed my walkie. No, I didn't. I grabbed my cell phone.
Okay.
I go out here thinking I'm going to go, come on, puppies. They were not dogs.
Oh, they weren't even dogs?
No.
What were they?
Take a guess.
Deer?
Yes, sir. 4.
So there's no
4 deer.
Come here, little deer.
No. 4 deer who have now trapped themselves in a part of our playground that has an 8-foot fence because we have a bunch of woods out here.
Oh my gosh.
So 2 deer were big deer. And they barely get over the fence.
What?
2 deer are not big enough to jump over the fence.
Oh my god!
So I have cars coming, I have kids coming, I have deer running like wild beasts, panicked. They're in panic mode, slamming into the fence. My counselor, bless her heart, I love my counselor, is hysterically crying because the deer slamming into the fence.
So it's trying to jump, but it can't get up high enough.
No, it can't get high enough, and then panic.
Gosh.
I have parents stopping.
That would have been sad.
So I yell for the principal at my building, who is a savior. And he is calm, cool, and collected. He comes out, opens the gate. We're hoping to get the deer through there.
Yeah.
The deer won't go through the opening. They just keep doing it. But I also can't let a deer get hit by a car in front of all these kids.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
I know.
There is an element of comedy though, right? Right?
Whatever you're picturing in your head, it was 10 times more dramatic.
So of course you have some that are crying, oh my gosh, the deer.
Yeah. And the parents are like, how can I help you? I'm like, I don't know. So
let's give him a boost.
I'm finally standing, and this deer, I can see it. I can see this deer there. There's an opening in the gate. I'm like, go through the opening.
Right.
So I see him. He's running all the way around the edge,
in
he's
passing
right
it.
there. Oh no, they passed it several times, but then he's right there. It's me, and it's the deer, and he's probably from not more than 10 feet away.
What?
Now you think deer are like these cute little sweet creatures?
Right.
This deer was like, I am coming through where you are standing.
Right.
And I'm thinking, this deer is coming through where I'm standing. And behind me are all the cars and the kids and the screaming. And what can we do
so
to
you're
help?
like, no, you're not coming this way.
I got the stance. And I do. When this deer looks at me with
I would have paid to see this.
he looks through my soul, Sean, and he's like, you're not stopping me. And I'm not making this up, I promise.
He's doing the
He is.
I'm coming.
So I do what any rational 43-year-old person would do.
Oh my gosh.
I scream like a little kid. I jump up and down. I start clapping my hands.
Oh, like aggressive, like ah!
Like, you can't come this way.
You not coming this way.
And
protecting my babies.
The deer takes off through the other way. They get through the gate. We made it. And now everyone is talking about, I saw you out in the parking lot.
Right.
Like, they don't want to say, like, I saw you acting like really
Acting crazy, right?
And then the parent pick up that day, all the parents were like, oh, I saw you over here. What was going on?
Right.
I did that. I
oh
did
my
that.
Gosh.
And whatever you're picturing in your head, I promise you, in real life, it was better.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I would have easily paid to see that.
It was a great show.
Oh my gosh.
Great show.
I mean, there's so many elements of it that would have been like whipping out the popcorn, like, oh, this is good. Oh, this is good. I mean, there is definitely the sad part about the jumping and
they were okay. I mean,
ahead,
they were going to make it.
You know.
They were going to survive.
Okay.
In the building, the craziest thing is it raisin or poop game?
Really?
You see it on the floor?
Okay, so I mean, I don't have to, but I kind of want to understand better. But
you don't pick it up because you don't know if it's a raisin.
So wait, go back. So there's this game they were playing.
No.
Oh, you're
it's a
saying
game between staff members. Me and my counselor and other people who are walking around. Like if you're in the hallway, Sean, with 5-year-olds, think 5-year-olds.
Right.
Kindergarten hallway.
Uh-huh.
You walk down and you notice on our brand new carpet there's something.
Right.
You look down.
That ain't a chocolate bar.
Is that a raisin? Or is that poo?
But either way, we're just not going to eat it, though, right?
We don't touch it.
We're not going to touch it, right?
Now, some brave souls will get real close and they will say, "Oh no, it's a rock." Or, but you,
I think it's a raisin.
At first glance, you are not sure. We used to, after COVID, we used to eat breakfast in our classrooms. And
Okay.
For some reason, like raisins are a popular breakfast food. Sometimes they're watermelon flavored. Sometimes they're strawberry flavored.
Yes. Oh,
whatever they are, they never
delicious.
get. Well, they
those
don't ever get eaten. They get sprinkled through the hallways. So that year there was a lot of raisins, and you never can assume in an elementary school, Sean.
Right.
Never assume it's a raisin.
Right. Whew.
So that's one of the.
I can see that going south pretty quickly.
Because, like I said, you would think it was always a raisin.
Right. Don't assume. That's helped
raisin.
Probably a lot of people in life.
Don't
assume.
Don't assume.
Don't assume. For a number of things, just don't assume.
Right.
Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's get the facts, and then proceed.
Yes. And there's a lot of like really serious things that happen in this job. But one of the things that we always say is you have to be able to laugh.
Yeah.
And there's something that is laughable because if not, you would never survive. Like you have to be able to find humor and joy in
for sure
the little things like raisins and deer stuck in the playground.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And you'll never forget them. You'll never forget those stories.
No.
And neither will anyone who was in the car line that day. They're not either.
Yeah.
Because I know I wouldn't. I'd been like, man, hold up. Where's my phone at?
I can't believe the video never came.
Oh,
but
my
they
goodness.
do not teach you that in your education classes.
I bet.
None of that's in there.
All right, today we're going to cover the deer that get into the courtyard, and you have to protect. Your stance has to be a triangular stance. Like, oh my gosh. Okay.
I don't think the screaming is like, looking back, I would probably have changed that because that wasn't very professional of me.
Oh, the screaming. Ah! Are your students lacking confidence? How's their decision making in the school? What about their effort in the classroom? Are they giving it all that they really have? Well, these are things that, as a national youth speaker, an author, I address in school buildings. If you are dealing with any of these issues and you would like to have a fun, exciting, full of energy presentation assembly, don't hesitate to reach out. My website is SeanGary.com. How they think about their next choices will be different. Go ahead and book a discovery call with me, which we simply have a conversation about what their challenges are, what their needs are, and then I can share with you what I would say, do, what talks that I have that address those areas, and also what an assembly would look like. And yes, I'm pretty much there the whole day. All right, thanks a lot. Now back to the episode. All right, so let's go back to the parents. Mm-hmm. The arguing parents. How did you handle that?
Well, it's hard to, at first especially, to not take it very personally. Mm-hmm. But I've learned over the years that...
What do you mean by take it personally, from the two of them arguing with each other?
Oh, from those parents. I thought you meant like parents coming in and arguing with us.
We'll get to that, but that specific situation, they're arguing outside, making a scene. You got the kids, the babies out here watching you. Like, how did you handle that?
It got to a point where we had to call for assistance. Okay. Just because there were threats and they had gotten to a point where they were not driving in a manner that was safe for me to let them get closer to where my other kids would be standing. Right. So in that case, I think once we could get them separated from the interaction, they calmed down very quickly. Probably could have done it without any assistance, but at the same time, kind of need that, and you kind of need part of the role is to make sure that mistakes don't repeat themselves, and so it's kind of part of making sure that people didn't think that that's how we allowed people to behave in the line, because it wasn't safe. I get being upset, I get things like that, but we, at the end of the day, my first thing is to keep these kids safe. And so if you're that upset, are you safe to have your kid in the car? I have to make sure they're safe. So
that's good.
That's kind of how we handled that. And at the end of the day, apologies were made on all ends. It was all good. There were no more issues. But just, not let the heat of the moment get the better of you.
Good. Okay. So now to what you were thinking. Angry parents, frustrated parents, none of those. How do you guys handle that?
Well, like I said, at the beginning of being an admin, it was very hard to not take it personally, like that the parent was coming in because they might come in with a raised voice. They might come in with accusations. They might come in with threats. They are generally not happy when they come in if it's that type of situation. So it's very hard to not take it personally and get very defensive. If they're telling the version that they have heard or from their perspective, it's very hard at the beginning to not say that's not how it happened, and then it gets into it. He said, she said, that's never going to work for you. So what I have learned is that most of the time they just need to be heard. They need to know that I understand that you're frustrated. I understand that you are upset. I'm sorry that you feel that way. And then the next steps of either what you've already done or, sometimes it's as simple as the story was different. That, when I heard the story, that's not how I heard it. Or that's not how it was presented. Or give me a little bit of time to look into this and see what's going on. But at the end of the day, every parent wants what's best for their kiddo. And so if they feel like their kiddo's not getting that,
they're not going to be happy.
They're not going to be happy. And, they trust us here at the school to take care of their kids when they're not here. I mean, they're handing over their most precious possession. And they have to feel like they can trust that we're going to take care of them like they would when we have them. And so a lot of times if you can just separate how it feels like a personal attack from they're upset, their kid's upset, they need to know that they're heard, that we're going to look into it, or that, oh, this is what we already have done. And they can take a deep breath and know that things are good.
That's good. Man, I was visualizing like you saying some of those, even like the wording of what you were saying. And I know there's been situations that I've had to be at a school. I mean, 4 kids, you're going to be at the school for something. and the times where there were possible issues or what might have seemed like, because I'm the type where I'm going to want to be there to over explain. Like, if you think there might just be tell me so I can nip it in the bud, get behavior right, or support you as an educator in any way I can, right? So I've been to the schools before, but I remember an incident that caused me to be at the school, and I was hearing what you're describing, and it did help. It helped a lot. I've heard that that's not really the version we have received or whatever, and we're like looking more into that, and so just there's a few of those what would you call it, grouping of words that you just use that I've heard before, and it definitely was nice. It helped to calm me down, and I was able to share the frustration, but be able to listen back, because my thing is, like with customer service, it's like no one's perfect. I get that.
Right.
How do we respond to what just happened? What's our next play? What's the next move? And we can't even get to that if you're not even hearing me. So I need you to hear me first. Let me get this off my chest, and then I'm open to hear the accuracy of it. What happened that I really don't know, and also what are we doing about it, right?
Well, and the other part of that is, the one thing I have to explain to parents a lot is you heard your child's perspective.
Right.
And I am not saying at all that your child's perspective is a lie or is incorrect.
But it's still
That's
a child.
how they perceive the situation. Someone else who saw the exact same situation has a completely different perception. Or, we run into where, they're kids, they're babies, they're learning, and it's our job to teach them. But where they don't see how their part played a role in what happened, or they feel like this was happening, where you might talk to 5 other people who it wasn't as personally impacting.
Not quite like that.
And and that's what I'm always very clear to say. I'm not saying that your child's not telling the truth from their perspective, but when you look at all these different pieces, and sometimes it's a matter of with a teacher or a staff member, I'm not saying that this is how you meant for that to come across, but from the parent's perceptive or perception, that's how it was, or the kid perceived it as
Right.
So just being cognizant that everybody sees things in a different way, and
that's good.
going from there.
That's good. I think that the level of patience that you guys have to have, it's easy to be a parent and look and say like, oh, principals are this, or oh, they don't care about my babies, they don't care about my kids. But just the level of patience, man, that an educator has to have, and that's all around. That's from the person teaching in a class to the office to the lunchroom staff. Like anybody dealing with young bodies has to have a level of patience. So,
well, and here's a word of wisdom to just all the people out there, parents, the teachers, the kids, everybody. There's not a person who comes into this building to do this job that comes in every morning and thinks, I'm going to come in and do a really bad job today.
Right.
I don't care about kids. I don't want to help kids. I'm going to come in and do a really bad job.
Yeah.
They might have good days. They might have bad days. They might have strengths. They might have weaknesses. But every person who comes into a school does so with the intention to do the best that they know how to do.
Yeah.
And if we can kind of give everybody that grace of they came to do the best that they can do.
Right.
Are there things we can improve on? Always. There's things everyone can do better and learn from.
Mm-hmm.
But just being able to think they came to school to do the best that they know how,
Right.
Kind of gives you a better starting point than assuming the worst.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's really good. And it's just kind of funny thinking about it. It's like, I can imagine the person waking up in the morning like, oh yeah, I'm about to tear up some stuff today, boy. I'm about to,
Right.
well, maybe I can pull a fire alarm. Oh man, oh, what if I slap the kid? Oh, like, that doesn't
we don't
really
make enough
happen
to
like
do that. All that. It's not, we're not getting rich over here by doing that. So.
Ooh, here's a question for you.
Here's
a question for you.
Deep one.
What is your thought? What are your thoughts on, because it may not really be something that is an issue here, but in general, what are your thoughts on students getting whoopings in class?
This is just a personal me. hasn't run through my brain that maybe said there's a kid in the city that might need a whooping.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would I ever want to be responsible for deciding that? Absolutely not.
Right.
In EVSC is all I'll speak for, my corporation, no corporal punishment of any type is used, and I am thankful for that because I would not want to be the person who decides if that's an appropriate punishment.
Who's getting the
not.
whooping and who's not?
Right. So I do think that is a parental decision.
Yeah.
So me personally, it's a no-go. But
everybody, go to your comment section right now. And
no judgment against people who are like all for it. But for me personally,
what are your thoughts? Should teachers give students whoopings? Yes or no? And if your student should get a whooping, who's the person that should do it? Should it be a position? Is there the whooping giver, like in the building, that walks around with a belt or switch or whatever else is given to that person in that position? What are your thoughts below? And I know there's going to be people that say, "Oh, should some get some?" Absolutely, but
I don't want to do it.
I posted this on my Facebook one time and it went crazy, and I was like, "Oh wow!"
Now I will say, I'm really not that old. I'm 43, so I'm not that old. I don't like the way you looked at me when I said
I'm just listening. I'm just listening. Where are you going with this? What happened?
You should have said, "Oh no, that's not old at all."
No, I'm not even thinking about the age. Okay. I'm like, well, what's she about to say?
I have a friend who's the same age as I am, and she's student taught in a different state than what I'm in. And the teachers had paddles in their classroom.
What?
So it's not that far removed.
Wow. Dag.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I imagine these stories where I seen a sub on a video, a man, he was getting tried by a student, and this was like a high school, so we're talking much bigger bodies, right? And the student was just walking up on him, like talking, running his mouth. All the students were watching, and of course there's no teaching going on, right? And God bless this man. He was trying so hard. To not respond to this kid. And he just was like, just please stay over there, get out of my face. And, he was backing up multiple times. He's backing up, like, but he's in a corner. So there's only so far back he can go. And the student is just constantly walking up to him. And I want to say the video kind of ended with the student laid out on the ground. Like I think he knocked the snot out of him. And but it was, I can't remember it like how the fight happened. I just remember watching going like, what does this dude do in this crazy scenario? Now for me, I feel like I haven't had any issues. I had one time that I could think of that caused conflict in the classroom when I was subbing. And I mean, of course, and it was my fault, but it was a choice of words that I used.
Yes.
And I knew before I said it, I knew this is going to get their attention. But how it got their attention didn't really go the way I was visualizing it going in my head. And so when the response from the students came, the majority of them responded the way that I thought they would, but it was only that one or two, and it's only one that's like, wait, what did he just say? Like, and I remember thinking like, dude, you knew better than that. But it didn't cause any kind of arguments or anything like that. It was just, I can see using that word, how it impacted them. And I knew what I was going for, but I had missed the mark. And I was evaluating myself even before I said it. Like, would this work? Let me see.
That's their perception.
Nope, it didn't work.
They didn't perceive it the way
we're
you
done.
wanted to.
Yeah, no, not at all. But it was a good learning experiment. I'm not dumb. I saw in 2 seconds after I said it, like, I ain't never saying that again.
Right.
But I've never had a kid want to fight me, not even close. I remember one time breaking up a fight. Before I share that, because that was funny, I remember in a high school one time they said, Mr. Gary, it's a fight out here. And I went to go like to the door, and it was like some lockdown stuff going on. And they said, no, there's 5 fights out here right now. And all 5 of them are not connected. So there was all in the same hallway.
That's when we say, bless those high school teachers.
I was like, everybody get over there and sit down, get away from this door. But the one that was funny was, and this was in an elementary school, and I was dressed up. I had dress shoes on, the whole 9. And I remember watching this thing escalate and saying like, oh, I need to get in here before this gets out of hand. But it was like too late. Part of it was too late. Other part of it was I know these two, so I've never seen either one fight before, so I don't know if they're actually going to fight, right? But this thing's escalating, and I don't know. I didn't know at the time the history of it, how it had been escalating all day. So it was like this was the final straw.
Bad combo shot.
And it was crazy. And so all I remember was I remember going, let me get in here. And I'm thinking, I'm a decent sized guy. I'll be able to separate these. Look. And the kids all laughed later. And I laughed with them so hard. 10, 15 minutes later, of course, I'm by myself. There's no other adult in the room at the time. Or at least there was some lunch staff. It was in the cafeteria. 10 minutes later, I'm on the floor rolling around and wrestling with these two. Oh my gosh. I want to say 7th graders, 6th graders maybe. It was like a elementary middle. Like they were some that were a little older. But the funny part, for me, the first funny part was I felt like I really didn't do nothing. I felt like, well, that escalated quickly. Like, like I was thinking like, well, I didn't really break that up like I thought I was going to.
Right.
I was rolling around with them on the floor. And the rolling around on the floor part.
The cafeteria floor though?
That part. And it wasn't even the nastiness of the floor. The funniest thing, of course, like I said, was me thinking like, dang, I was just on the floor rolling around with these dudes. And now it's over and there's help, there's security here now, and I'm like trying to, kind of dust myself off, wipe myself down, and then somebody goes, look at the floor, like my dress shoes. I had so many black scuff marks all over the floor.
Like an alligator death roll you were doing over there, Sean.
It was crazy. And when they said, it was like, Mr. Gary, look what your shoes did on the floor. And I looked down and I was just like, oh my gosh, it was hilarious. I mean, the scuff marks was everywhere of me rolling around and my shoes going. I will never forget that. And I'm one that I don't believe I can be embarrassed. I cannot be embarrassed. If it's something silly, something funny, I'm just going to laugh. I'm going to laugh with you. We're going to laugh together. And so when they pointed it out and I was just like, oh my gosh, that is hilarious. I was over there. Then we were over there. Then we were over there. Like it was crazy. But yeah, I haven't had any altercations. Trying to think if I've seen any. Have you seen any where anybody was wanting to fight?
No, and I've done all my work in elementary schools.
Okay.
So even when the kids are like, there's a fight, kids make poor choices. Kids hit each other.
Right.
But thankfully, no, I have not ever been in the middle of an actual fight.
No.
That I would classify as something that I was ever worried about. There's times where kids make poor choices. It's usually in the bathroom or on the playground. That's the two places that they tend to do those things. But no, thankfully.
Yeah.
Plenty of kids make a poor choice in the moment.
Right.
But as far as saying I've had a big fight, no.
Have you had any? Has anyone ever threatened anybody like guns or knives or anything?
We've had kiddos who have used the words that they are going to do something, but as far as ever having it in their possession, not here. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's real good.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's that time. This has been fun. I've loved it. Laughed a lot more than I thought I was going to, but yes.
I'm a fun girl. What can I I say?
This has been fun. All right, time for the win and play portion. You have the choice to go principal, parent, and teacher.
Okay.
And you can do 3 for each, or you can pick one of them and give 5 win and plays.
Okay.
So which one do you want to go with?
I'm going to go with 5 winning plays for principals. Which is ironic because I'm only an assistant principal.
No, that's great though. That's great.
Okay,
that's
let's see
great.
if I can come up with 5.
No one's done that yet, so here we go. Here we go.
So my first winning play would be don't take it personal.
Okay.
And whether that's, I have a large staff here. We have like 86 staff members, not teachers, but when you include all your paras and your cafeteria and your daycare and all that, there's not a single decision that I can make that's going to make all 86 of them happy. Yeah. Someone's going to be unhappy with whatever decision I make. And they might say it to my face. They might keep it quiet. They might talk about it behind my back.
Right.
However I hear about them being unhappy, don't take it personal. As long as you know that you made the best decision possible in the moment, with all the information that you had. If you made a bad decision, take it personal. Yeah. But if you really came and did your work and this is the best option that you had, don't take it personal. Yeah. If people are upset with you, whether that's staff or parents or students or whoever it is that's upset with you, don't take it personal. As long as you did the best that you could do.
That's good.
The second winning play I would give is have fun. We this year did a school-wide event called Rock Your School. It's in September where every grade level transformed their hallway. We had Candyland, we had a 50s diner, we had glow parties, we had a Nintendo World.
Wow.
And
sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a ton of fun. I mean, I had on a pink wig. My principal had on a wig and a mustache where people didn't even know it was him. And we just had a great time with the kids. And kids went home that day still learning, but they went home and we're talking about what a great day they had, the best day ever. Nice. So have fun. Don't be afraid to have fun.
That was a week long. That was one day.
One day.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it for a week. I'd have been worn out. I had one day and I was tired of that. So sometimes it can feel like we have so much on our plate that the fun has to go away. Don't let the fun go away. So have fun. The third thing would be never forget what precious commodities you're in charge of. I mean, we are in charge from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. of other people's children. Yeah. And there's nothing more precious than that. So remember that as you're making your decisions. Remember that as you're deciding how much effort you put into something. Remember that as you go throughout your day that you are responsible for people's most prized possessions and that they trust you to be responsible for them. Yeah, that's good. The third thing I would say, fourth thing, I did 3. I'm on number 4. Number 4 is go into every situation, dealing with a student situation that you would want to handle if it was your child. That could kind of really frame some things. If I will say I became a much better teacher when I had school-age children because I could see both sides of it then. Yeah. And things when I was a teacher when I didn't have kids and I was like, what is that parent upset about? It's not a big deal. Right. When your kid comes home and is crying, I got to be on yellow today, you realize it is a big deal. So treat every situation as you would want it treated if it was your child who was in that situation. Don't blow things off if just because you don't think it's important. It's important to the kids. It's important to us. Yeah. So treat it like you would want your child to be treated. And number 5, I learned this from one of my principals that I've worked with, and I go into everything. Remember when you're making a decision that if you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So if you're making your master schedule and you tell one group, yes, you can have your plan at this time, you're saying no to another group on something that they might want in their schedule. So just make sure you're thinking through when you say yes to something, what is it that I'm saying no to? Right. So, no, that's good. 5.
You hit it on the head. Nice. I love it. Guys, right now, stop what you're doing. Like, subscribe, all that other YouTube-y stuff. Share this with somebody. Share this with some friends in education. Make sure you subscribe. If you'd like to, you could even join us on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, the Winning
Play podcast. It's growing. Those who are in education can come and share encouragement to others and get some nuggets themselves, give some nuggets themselves, and of course stay tuned to all the episodes as they're coming out because they'll drop there first. And that's it. Did you have anything else you want to say? Anything you want to leave with the people? Any shout outs you want to?
Keep doing the good work, people. I know, just being honest, education is tough right now. It kind of feels like we're getting hit from all sides. Keep doing the good work. And students, be nice to your substitute teachers. We don't have enough. So
be nice to the subs.
Be nice to them. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, that's all that I have today. And I just want to say thanks for watching. And of course, again, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. And until next time, peace.